I'm here at Austin Metroflex Gym with strength legend Jill Mills. We just finished the Jill Mills Classic. I have a few questions for Jill. Jill, being considered one of the greatest female powerlifters of all time, what do you consider your most important accomplishment?
One that I'm 40 and I'm still able to hang in there is a big accomplishment. But probably really, when I think back to everything I've ever done, probably my first 501 deadlift, because it was my third meet. Didn't know what the heck I was doing. I set up like a snatch grip. Weighed 162. Ed Cohn was standing behind me yelling, "Chest up!" And I don't know, just pulled 501. And pretty sad I'm only pulling mid fives now, but.
Yeah, well, the day you pulled 501, it was hot, very high. I mean, everybody was fatigued, like everybody's third deadlift, and nobody could really get it. Also, like going into the strongwoman stuff, I mean, how does that differ from powerlifting, contemporary powerlifting, and what we do, squat, bench, and deadlift, to all the other events in the strongman competitions?
It's like apples and oranges, you know. Well, I think they complement each other very well. Like off season, you train one, and then you go back to the other. That always worked real well for me. But being good at one doesn't necessarily carry over, because if you're not a good athlete, you have to have the athletic element to be a good strong man or woman. But you don't have to be a great athlete to be a good power lifter. You don't have to, you know, be agile, fast on your feet, you know, have great conditioning. All you have to do is be powerful for one rep. So it's just, you can't have any weaknesses at all in strongman.
And going from that, I mean, you were a dominant powerlifter before you actually got a name in the strongwoman competition. So how did you build into that? I mean, you were doing the squat, bench, and the deadlift. I mean, how did you just say, hey, I'm going to go into the strongwoman competition and try this out, and then happen to win first place your first time at a world championship?
Well, yeah, it was kind of a rough start, because I was going against girls who were from Europe, where there was already a big, strong man-woman base. You know, they'd been competing. They had a lot of experience, had world's strongest man, you know, Yoko Aola or Yanni Virden coaching or whatever. You know, I had no one. Had videos, that's it. So I had to learn by trial and error and watching and making mistakes. So the strength that I had from powerlifting gave me a stronger base than the rest of the girls, but the rest of it took me time to acquire, as far as the skill and being fast on my feet. I was slow, but there was just enough real strength elements for me to be able to get enough points to win.
Okay, and the evolution of the sport, like with gear and everything that goes on, I mean, going from an old school base of what you come from, how do you feel the sport has changed when you see the lifters of the past getting dominated by lifters of present that are nowhere near as strong as those of old, as like Ed Cohn being the only 242 in the top 20 from the 90s, and all the other ones in the new millennium, when nobody could even touch him in a sense. No man on this planet could ever. I mean, how do you feel like that when you see your records getting erased by propaganda, basically?
Yeah, you know, I'm not happy about the gear, but to me it's three different sports. You got your single ply, you got your raw, and then you got your multiply. And I've had to learn to not let what everybody's doing and what I call the circus side of it, where it's just a freak show as far as overload of gear. To me, in my mind, that's a different scale. I don't measure myself on that scale.
Good question, and that's the Olympia. You're on the Olympia roster this year. You haven't competed in a while. What do you feel about going into the Olympia with girls like Liz Frill, you know, Shauna Mendelson, and the other girls that are on the roster? I mean, you're going into the gear in a single ply manner. How do you feel of your chances at the Olympia? Where's your mind at?
Well, first off, in powerlifting, I'm never really worried about what anybody else is going to do, because that doesn't really benefit me, you know. So I've never trained with, oh, I wonder what they're doing, you know. But as far as how I think I can do, I mean, of course, I think I can hold my own, or I wouldn't put my name in the hat to go if I didn't feel like I could be on their level, you know. But single ply is how I've always done it. This is powerlift. This is the way it's always been for me. This isn't like a new thing I've got to learn, you know. So I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, I saw you bench your 270. I mean, it was pretty fast.
281.
281, I'm sorry, and then the 501 deadlift. I mean, it was so hot. I mean, you deadlifted only, but I mean, everybody, you were walking around coaching people, wrapping knees and helping people. So, I mean, you were exhausted, and then to turn around and do that and up the American record in USPA, I mean, you had a great day. You know, this was built for you, and we made this meet in your honor because, you know, I remember growing up and seeing you at the meets and, you know, looking up to, I hate to say that I look up to a woman in weightlifting, but I do, you know, so, and, I mean, what else is there in the future for you?
Well, I mean, in all honesty, every day that I go to the gym and I work out is a bonus because most people that were doing it when I started aren't doing it anymore. They quit a long time ago. So I feel pretty fortunate that I'm 40 years old and I'm still able to go in there and do what I do. So I take it one at a time. That's all I can do at this point. Looking forward to the one in September, and beyond that, who knows? Maybe I'll go back to adventure race. I mean, there's always going to be a sport for me. I'll never love anything quite like I do strength sports, but you know, that's the challenge of every champion, I think, is knowing when's the right time to walk away.
Yeah, that is true. But it's always the heart of a champion is the heart that always thinks that you can, and that becomes your downfall in older ages because, you know, a heavyweight still gets in the ring thinking he can win and ends up getting knocked out. It always happens because the same heart beats in us forever.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the same heart that made us a champion or what we are.
I think once things start tearing, your body's telling you. Seriously.
Once things start tearing.
I mean, things happen every now and then, but I mean, when you are just consistently injuring yourself, that's your body telling you you need to back off and pass the torch.
All right, well, that concludes the interview, but we will have another Jill Mills Classic that we'll work on, and we'll get the dates out. And we want to thank Jill Mills for everything and letting us have this meet in your honor. Thank you, Jill.
Thank you. I'm truly honored.